Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the new season of Out of Cast, your program completely in English, as it is pretty obvious.
Now, since we are in the spooky month of October, Spooktober,
Woo!
and this amazing new movie Joker has been released, we decided to dedicate this whole episode to the clown prince of crime and talk about the most famous representation of his character on screen, wherever be it from the movies, TV series or animated.
But before we get into the discussion, let's present to you our socials, where you can find us on
Facebook as Roma 3 Radio, on our Twitter account as Roma 3 Radio, and on Instagram too as Roma 3 Radio. But remember, 3 as a number, the other account has been abolished from the heavens probably. And you can listen to us, of course, on our streaming website as radio.uniroma3.it and on the TuneIn app as Roma 3 Radio.
with the 3 as a number.
Remember.
Yeah.
Good place.
In the end, why so serious? Without any further ado, let's hear a bit of a song and we'll be back to you very soon. Okay, so we are gonna start our first interpretation of the Joker with the Batman TV show from the 60s, which started from 1966 until 68.
And it even had a
Spin-off?
live action movie.
Live action. Great. So we have a specialist here on this matter. Eleanor's gonna explain for us.
Thank you, Helia. I'm really honored to be here today to talk about the very first Joker on the small screen, and I mean, I have to make this quote live in person, just like the old promotions. May I present to you Mr. Cesar Romero, mediocre Cuban dancer, but an exceptional B-movie actor. But first, let me tell you a bit of a story about the TV series itself.
Please.
In the early 60s, 20th Century Fox brought the TV rights to produce our Batman live-action TV series, working with the ABC Broadcasting Company, and both of them teamed up together to produce a comedy-oriented TV series, but at first, they wanted to stay on the more gritty, dark mood in the comics, but then the director, Mr. William Dozer, who had never read any Batman comics ever before, said,
wow.
"No,
That's a huge risk, you know."
Yeah, and he said, "No, that's impossible. We have to make it more campy, friendly. And that's why we got Adam West in the first place, because he wanted him to be there." So, but unlike West, Romero was like 60 years old at the time.
Yes.
And he got this opportunity out of nowhere because he was just slightly famous for Latin lover or prostitute roles in Western movies.
Okay.
That's why it said, I don't know what they saw in me at the time. I didn't do anything like this before, but trust me, he did a terrific job with his role. This funny grandpa surely know how to give life to a psychotic character like the Joker. He might not even realize it at first, but he created the Joker as we know him today. He gave his characteristics like the creepy laugh, his high-pitched voice, all the creakiness and mannerisms comes from Cesar Romero's very own interpretation. He didn't have to do it, but he did it.
And he really did put a lot of passion. But I also did a bit of a homework on this, and I found out that to prepare for the role, he refused to shave his mustache to play the Joker, helping with the cartoonish look. And about playing the Joker, he stated that it's the kind of part where you can do everything you've been told not to do as an actor, but you can be as hammy as yourself as you want to be. Moving on to 1989 with Tim Burton's Batman, another interpretation that is done by whom did the Joker? I'm talking
Jack
about.
Nicholson.
So we're gonna talk about Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Absolutely.
Go on.
So, like you just said before, it's 1989, and Tim Burton was almost on the peak of his artistic career, and as you might even expect, Burton made one of the most remarkable, intriguing, let's say, Joker of all time. Because, in his own version, Joker started as Jack Napier, a rich mobster who didn't blink an eye when he killed his own parents just to get a few bucks.
Great!
And it wouldn't be that much surprising in the end if only Napier, this version, didn't rob and, killed Bruce Wayne's parents on a in a cold, icy night.
Yeah.
And
You know,
I can talk today, so I was trying to say...
We all know what comes next.
Yep, absolutely. Little did Napier know that he would meet Bruce again as the Batman, and Jack Nicholson, because just like I said before, that's our boy, gave us a really charming interpretation that, thanks to Barton's dark yet surreal direction, changed the way Joker would have been played years to come.
Yeah, so Nicholson's Joker really stood out among the cast. Even Michael Keaton, who played Bruce Wayne, he even stood out when he was with Michael Keaton in the same scene. So,
Yep.
Any Keaton's quote from the movie? Do you remember any of them?
I am Batman.
Oh, that's old. All the Batman say that. So, you're not alone if you don't remember any of the lines. So, because Nicholson gave us a hyperactive, fun villain who you just couldn't stop looking at despite of his despicable actions. It has been more than 30 years now, but quotes like, "What are you smiling at?" and "Sometimes I just want to kill myself." That's...
I just like to kill myself.
Yeah, I just like to kill myself.
Sorry.
That's movie history right there. And like we said earlier, if Romero settled the basis for all the future Jokers, Nicholson instead settled a whole new standard for a new audience on comic book movies. The red. Let's see.
Yep.
Let's jump to 1992 until 1995, and we are gonna speak about the animated series, the interpretation of the Joker in the animated series, which is done by
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
it
boy.
is one of the most underrated because it's not live action, so people really don't pay much attention. But it's from multiple Batman animated series, the Arkham video game trilogy, and a couple of motion pictures. So although many people grew up watching the animated series,
Hell yeah, it's among them.
Yeah, maybe many of them would be unaware of who voiced the character, which we said it is none other than Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill. So yeah,
His portrayal is over the top most of the time with his iconic laughter and biting voice that to the point that in comic books fans read that the Joker's lines in Hamill's voice sometimes, of course, and it's like the comic book Joker came alive in full motion.
yes,
I don't know.
Yes, exactly. I'm 100% sure on that.
Yeah,
That's true.
and the character itself is not just a crazy mad lad who wants to destroy. It's more than that, and it's taken very seriously even in the series storyboard,
Yes.
and that's what made the Batman animated series, let's call it a franchise, very unique among the rest of Warner Brothers projects. And especially in the animated movies, he's taken very, very seriously because he has very scary and creepy moments moments, like he manically laughs while murdering a man in Batman The Mask of the Phantoms, or even the full sequence of the Joker's death in Batman Beyond: The Return of the Joker. This film in particular was heavily censored back in the days.
Of course.
It contained a lot of violent moments, even reducing the over-the-top manners. Although less cartoonish, way darker and psychopathic, even reducing... I'm sorry, I lost myself. What I was
even reducing the over-the-top manners. Now, all due to the more adult nature of the original show, Batman Beyond, on which the movie is based. So for his laugh, he was influenced by several things, but one of the things that really stands out is that he got his laughter, he imitated the old Universal horror films. Now on that note, he also says that people don't even realize you take elements, and I'll use people all the time. I have lots of influences. So while not being a live action performance, Mark Hamill's Joker holds still today a soft spot in the hearts of the fans. He not only gave life to the comic book character in cartoon motion, but thanks to his maniacal laughter and all the years he voiced the Joker, he surely deserves all the praises that he can get. And then there's some people thinking he's not a good actor. In 2014, showcasing the criminal masterminds that Jim Gordon and of course the young Bruce Wayne had to face. And obviously all of them are from the comics. But when we get to know the identical twin brothers Jerome and Jeremiah Valeska, they turn out to be the supervillains of the series. First, Jerome goes mad and turns into a proto-Joker. Then, spoiler alert, this is for a few years ago, so I mean, I can.
The spoiler rule has ended.
The first brother Jerome gets killed. So then he's brought back to life by his followers, let's say, and then again he's killed for the last time. Meanwhile, the other brother, whom by far was sane, quote unquote, and a good person, with a chemical gas made by his brother that was dead, gets killed, and sent to him after his death, turns into a proto-Joker again. That sane brother, let's say. Okay?
that was so original. Wow.
So yeah, he turns into a proto-Joker and the story moves on.
Yeah, so they still go by their own names, but they act and dress just like the Joker, and why not just call it the Joker then? Some people say because of copyright issues, but at least that's what people think, but that doesn't actually make any sense. I mean, if the Gotham TV series, if you use all the Warner Brothers character, why not?
I have no idea, and I couldn't find any reason. So
I've got the solution to this, because they were lazy.
No, that's not laziness. Come on.
That's my original character. Look, it's not the Joker, it's my original character.
I mean, I think they're trying to play it smart. That's what I think. So go on.
Sorry, I'm a really pessimistic person. And so, both brothers just dress like a Joker, talk like the Joker, and especially Jeremiah is a type of Joker that doesn't choose to be as such, but instead was put in a specific situation to turn into a Joker-type character. And many stuff that you see is very much like the character in the comics, and we really don't dive deep into the character. We mostly just see his madness and mad acts, and especially Jeremiah's evolution that turned into proto-Joker. And it's like to see each and different layer in the comic and overrepresentation of the character, analyzing layer by layer. But in the end, we surely have to point out the very fine work of Cameron Monaghan, the actor portraying both brothers.
Yeah, both brothers
and actors.
Yeah.
You just heard the Dark Knight official trailer from 2008.
Yep.
And that's time for some ledger time.
Yes, the good one. Yeah. The awesome one.
Ledger's interpretation of the character is specifically influenced by the graphic novels Batman the Killing Joke and Arkham Asylum, a series housed on Silver Earth. In the film, he wears the character traditional purple and green color palette, while special appearance includes clown makeup in white, red, and black to make it much more creepier, but covers facial scares of a gleeful smile and green hair.
Now, the Joker is considered Ledger's finest.
Calm down.
Yeah, I am so excited.
Same.
Finest performance. So when the film was released in July 2008, 6 months after the actors died tragically, the performance caused a sensation, receiving widespread acclaim and numerous posthumous accolades, including the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. It is also considered Ledger's biggest legacy, which immortalized him in cinematic history, of course.
And Heath Ledger described the Joker as a psychopathic, mesmerizing, schizophrenic clown with zero empathy. Just like it's obvious in the movie, all he cares about is just the chaos that he causes. Highlighting the opportunity for freshness, the actor aimed for a new and different interpretation of a character, completely different from other previous movies' incarnation, which was Jack Nicholson and Cesar Romero and many others.
Yeah,
and well, he blew prepared to the role. He did some crazy shit. I can say.
No. The crazy shit is about to come. This is
That's
to
nothing.
get into the role. It's
Oh.
nothing in comparison to what Jared Leto did.
Well, Ledger had pics of hyenas for the laughs. He locked himself in a hotel room for a month. We split 2 hours in a night and experimented with voice, posture, and mannerism all the time.
Yeah. And of course, he also kept a very detailed diary of what was he doing and what he thought is best to do to get into the character.
That's some dedication.
Yeah. So Ledger and Nolan both explained seeing eye to eye on the Joker's appearance in the film, sharing common reference points for who the character was going to be, based on philosophical ideas of anarchy and chaos. They looked at art by Francis Bacon for visual reference, and they talked about Malcolm McDowell's performance as Alex in Stanley Kubrick's film A Clockwork Orange. In an interview with MTV, Ledger said he regarded the experience playing the Joker as the most fun he ever had, and probably will ever have. And
Hello
again once more. I am Helge the Bluehead,
and I'm Twinkle Nora.
and I'm gonna talk about the newest interpretation of the Joker. Now saving the best for the last, with no disrespect to Heath Ledger's Joker. Okay, I'm gonna put it here.
That's on Helia time. So Helia time.
Now we're gonna talk about the controversial Joker that's out in the theaters now. In this version, the Joker is played by Joaquin Phoenix, and his real name's Arthur Fleck. What differs this Joker from other Jokers is that in this story we have a more realistic turn on the character, even more realistic than the Heath Ledger's version of the Joker. We even can hardly say that this is a comic book movie, even with all those comic book references. Now, the name Arthur Fleck doesn't even come from the comics. This is a psychological thriller, and we mostly dig into the character's past rather than what he actually does as the Joker right now. We'll know where his ideology is coming from. We learn about all the pains he's been through in his life, and we see everything and everyone from his point of view. Now, everyone is here to save the main character and to shape him, from the director Todd Phillips, the writer Phillips himself and Scott Silver, to the composer Hildur Guðnadóttir, who has done a great job for the score of this movie and definitely deserves an Oscar right away. I demand it. But the most fantastic job, of course and for sure, is done by Phoenix himself. He creates his own Joker. Well, actually, just like the director says, Joaquin gets lost in Joker. To prepare for the role, he lost 52 pounds. In kilograms, it will be about 23.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Studied dancing, studied people suffering from pathological laughter, a mental illness that makes mimicry uncontrollable. He's a Joker that's been hurt by people, society, and even the government. A Joker that needs and seeks help but is unable to find. Now, the point of this movie and this specific turn on the character is mostly a nod to the situation and what's going on nowadays in our society, showcasing that only if we'd be a bit more civil and humane to one another, such characters wouldn't be created and such horrible things wouldn't happen. Now, it somehow points out that these characters and situations are the consequences of our acts. Just go on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, and see how people talk and treat each other. Another thing that's pointed out beautifully is one of the scenes that was also in the trailer, where he's talking to his psychiatrist and tells her, "You don't listen, do you?" And I think this is a very important matter to point out. And with this note, I'll finish our discussion with this line from the movie, that you get what you deserve.
That was epic. I'm gonna tell you.
And here's comment section that we've added to our new season. And this last section...
Can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a trash talk of a week. That's our jingle. Thank you.
Yeah, it's Trash Talk of the Week, where we get to talk about a bad representation of a character or a bad movie related to what we're talking about. Yep. So, for example, in the Trash Talk of the Week today, we will be talking first about
the Killing Joke.
The Killing Joke.
Yep. This is kind of a strange one because Killing Joke by Alan Moore and Brian Boland is one of the most famous Batman comics ever made. It has a noir and peculiar style of drawing, adult themes, and a final page that provides an ambiguous ending upon which fans speculate still today. But it's not very long. A full movie, page by page, won't even last more than half an hour, I guess.
Yeah.
And they therefore moved along a delicate situation. Add another half an hour prologue focusing on the character of Barbara Gordon, Alice, the Batgirl. It was a huge risk, but with Bruce's team on board, bird. Kevin is a bird. Kevin is the word.
Go on.
So I was trying to say that Kevin is the man behind the original Batman, the animated series, and with both Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill voicing Batman and the Joker, it could have worked.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? But unfortunately, we got was a pointless half-an-hour prologue focusing on the wrong aspects of Barbara Gordon, dealing with a boring reality, blah blah blah, and a wrong and superficial bond with the Batman. The very first part of the movie doesn't even match the second, which is much more serious, and it's about the actual Killing Joke adaptation. It doesn't even look like a whole movie. It's two separate episodes of a TV series.
So yeah. I mean, it's bad. I mean, and as for the Joker himself, the Killing Joke is famous for being one of the many Joker's original stories as a young and naive, failing comedian. And Mark Hamill acting both as the Joker and his younger self.
It's a kind of weird.
It could be weird.
Yeah, because the psychological transformation remains the same with him, providing that one bad They is all that it takes to make you go crazy and kill people.
So yeah, this is the first trash talk of the week. The second goes to Suicide Squad and Jared Leto's Joker. Okay.
He's the
Now
best. Don't you think Jared Leto is the best actor ever? We should give him 2,000 Oscars.
Now, hold on a minute. Leto has given us a Joker that is unlike any we've ever seen before. He is so freaking weird. You're not quite sure whether he wants to be a dark cartoonish Joker like Nicholson or Romeo, or he wants to be a realistic and deep one like Ledger and Phoenix. Well, I think he's not so sure himself either.
Sorry, I just can't think like, what am I? What should I do?
And the weirder fact is that he's an Oscar-winning actor. So what exactly went wrong? Let me tell you straightforward. The editing, the directing, the writing, not even the studio cared about this character in Suicide Squad. No one did him any favor, and here's the result. But at least he's the first Joker that can truly sell the rockstar shitless look. We have rockstar Joker. Now, to prepare for the role, he did some weird ass shit.
Oh, tell me.
He remained in character for 6 months, growled at people, took inspiration from drug lords on Instagram, spoke as the Joker during 30 Seconds to Mars shows, sent Margot Robbie a love letter with a black box that had a live rat in it.
I heard that the rat was dead, actually.
I don't know. There are some speculation on that.
It's a Schrödinger rat.
And he also sent Will Smith a letter with bullets and many other weird ass shit stuff. I gotta say, for pulling off such a character, you really don't need to go this far. And this has been our first trash talk of the week.
Thank you very much.
So this has been the very first episode of the new season of Out of Cast, and we talked about all the interpretations of the Jokers, of course the most famous and notable ones. Yeah.
Yep.
And I hope that you have enjoyed today's show.
We surely did.
And our new segment, Trash Talk of the Week.
Yeah, I think that it's going to last for a while.
Yes.
There's so much trash to talk about, yes.
But before saying goodbye, let's thank our writers.
Myself.
Yeah, Eleonora and we both write. But also Julio and Said does write too. We all, 4 of us, we write too. So, Julio and Said, and also our director Alessandro. And applause for him. He's great. You're great, man. And I really do hope you've enjoyed this episode. And I do really hope that you all go and watch Joker in the theaters right now, because it's a movie worth your time and your money. But before saying goodbye, don't forget our socials.
Well, you can always search for us on Facebook as Roma 3 Radio, on our Twitter account as Roma 3 Radio, on Instagram. What could it be? Sapienza.it. Sorry.
Oh, come on.
Roma 3 Radio. You can listen to us on our streaming website as radio.uniroma3.it, and finally on the TuneIn app as Roma 3 Radio.
So, again, I really do hope you enjoy this.
Can I say it?
Go on.
Thank you. And don't forget, why so serious?
Why so serious?
Yeah, you did it. Un applauso. È andata.
Perfetta, ho chiamato il secondo in cui hai smesso di parlare.